My question was, we see, I mean, there have been so many such incidents. This is just one of them. This is just one of the incidents where Gandhi, of course, there is the D-Day, Calcutta killings and all that, also where we see a replay of almost the same thing.
Absolutely.
Now, what do you make of the present government, which is, so to speak, a Hindu nationalist government? Their mulish insistence, if I may put it that way, on continuing with the aura of Gandhi. And if they do so, which way are we headed?
Well, if they're, look, it's very hard to read the mind of the present government, A, and B, if they think it is some kind of a strategy or something, I'm unaware of it. And C, there is a real problem with, especially with regard to so-called minorities, is that unlike they have reached a kind of critical mass in some places, Western UP for example, Bengal, Kerala, large parts of Tamil Nadu, entire villages in South Tamil Nadu. So you are kind of having a modicum of stability and strength and whatever economic revival, whatever you want to call it. I don't think you should risk by fanning these passions.
No, but what I'm talking about is not about fanning passions. What I'm talking about
the moment
is...
you inject this kind of narrative, now look at it from the other perspective. From 2014 onwards till now, they couldn't get this government or this party, Mr. Modi, they couldn't get him politically. So what are they doing? Building false narratives and following it up with ground action. Now, all this love jihad and beheadings of Hindus, temple desecration, they are encroaching, they are attacking from this perspective, on these fronts, which you cannot combat politically, because law is a state subject too, and if you touch it, no matter who, these are criminals, yeah. So look at the state we have been reduced to. So if you touch them, they will automatically create that narrative base is already set for 70 years. Automatically the blame is on the government, no matter who does it.
No, but I'm not even talking about that. What I'm talking about is, one thing is leaving things as it be, and one thing is feeding it more. What I find is, I mean, all these things sound like an explanation when you see actually the actions of the Modi government. They are active, not just letting things be in status quo, they're actively feeding that narrative which works against Hindus. They're feeding the same system which is slowly working, edging out Hindus, whether on the economics platform. I do not find any policy of this government, and I'm being very honest here, which actually reinforces the Hindus' position in the slightest bit. So how do you explain that? I mean, that they're actually feeding them, like the measures that they are, they're actually helping these sections more. So they're in a way actually acting the same way that Gandhi did. The only thing is that here it is a political establishment which is doing it. So even if they don't challenge it and don't start working against Muslims, they cannot do that. It is not possible, as you rightly pointed out. But then continuing it, perpetuating it, expanding it, and this is exactly what is BJP doing. So where are we heading? This is what my question was, because it is extremely upsetting when we hear these things. And I mean, we are all, there are various sections of history we know very thoroughly, and we know just how bad it was. Yet, absolutely, I mean, we are headed to a blind direction. Like someone just asked the question about what is happening in Europe. I mean, it is bound to have some kind of a redounding effect on India. We are just not prepared.
Well, there's a lot of ground that you've covered. As far as the specific grievances or policy stuff and furthering the same narrative and discourse that was set in the last 70 years, last 70 years, I have no comment on that. But I can suggest something, that this, what you're saying, cannot be solved politically. There is no political solution to this. There is a civilizational solution. So civilization, the greater you're rooted in civilization, the greater you practice your civilizational ideals, you will create a proportionate political leadership that will take care of this. You can't tweak policy. I mean, you can tweak policies, you can bring in some lobbies to represent whatever, and things might change in the way that we all want. But Modi government won't be permanent, right? Some other guy will come. It's a game of numbers, democracy. Some other guy will come and shoot it down in just 1 week. Then we have to find civilizational solutions.